3 minutes late, that's not bad. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Doug and Matt. Matt said he wasn't going to be here, so you've got everybody that you're going to have. I was thinking that too.
Oh, thank you. Oh, yeah. Just for record.
Are we ready?
Yeah. Yep.
We got everybody we need. Yeah, turn sound on.
Oh, let me get my, hold on a second.
She's just going to listen or watch the video.
Redundancies. I forgot to do this for planning commission yesterday. I want to make sure I don't do it again. Okay.
All right, my name is Michael Gearns, Chairman. I call this regularly scheduled meeting of the Historic District Commission to order this 9th day of July 2020. There is a quorum present. The roster of the staff to the commission, of the commission members, and the technical posts that they fill in accordance with the requirements of the Hagerstown zoning ordinance are on file with the city of Hagerstown, are available on request to any applicant, and are hereby made a part of the legal record of each and every application heard today. All decisions rendered are based on the Secretary of Interior standards and guidelines as adopted by the city of Hagerstown. Each decision is made on a case-by-case basis and not intended to be precedent setting. If you have any cell phones or other electronic devices, please make sure that they've been silenced. We only have one type of case today.
Could you bring your microphone closer to you?
I'm not used to. That better?
Yes.
All right, we have design review case. For those design review cases, when we call that particular case, please, when joining with the commission, please state your name and address for the record. There will be a brief synopsis of your application from the staff consultant. The floor then will be turned over to the applicant for any further elaboration. After that, the floor then will be open for discussion by the commission members prior to rendering decision on that particular application. At this time, we have a minutes for June 25th, 2020. We'll need a motion to adopt, or
Motion to approve.
is there a second?
Second.
All right, any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of the motion for approval of the minutes for June 25th, 2020 signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries. We have no consent agenda items. Design review case HDC 2020-22 for 789 Hamilton Boulevard. Ms. French for replacement windows. If you can state your name and address for the record, please.
My name is Irene French. The address I'm representing is 789 Hamilton Boulevard.
Okay, this is HDC case 2020-22. Applicant is Eileen Fresh for Amanda Elliott, the owner. Property is located at 789 Hamilton Boulevard. Property is located in the Oak Hill Historic District. Building is a B resource. The building contributes to the character of the district, but is not likely to qualify for National Register listing individually. Photographs of the building are shown on page 1 of your staff report. This is the left half of the duplex building. Description of work and plans. The applicant is proposing to replace all windows with vinyl WinCore replacement windows that will mimic the original with exterior grids on the top sash. The rear facade is minimally visible from Potomac Prospect Avenue. Staff recommends approval. Secretary of Interior standards 9 and 10 apply. What's currently on this property is the original wood windows underneath of storms. So it gives the impression of having embedded buttons, but in reality what it is, it's an overlaid storm window over top of the original windows. There are grills in the upper sashes, and I believe also, in the attic sashes as well. So staff recommends approval. It's just that they need exterior grids that mimic the current configuration.
Do you have anything to add?
No, well, yeah, the windows have been ordered. But then, of course, when we found out that they had to have the external grids, they have also been ordered, and those are on order. The windows themselves have been ordered prior to, this hearing.
All right. Commission members,
Sorry,
concerns,
did-
comments?
Did I misunderstand? She said she got storms with the onions as well, or replaced the one she ordered with a replacement?
What I understand is the windows, when they were ordered, did not have the exterior
Oh,
buttons on them. So
Okay.
they have since ordered those to be applied to the window. At this point, you're removing the window and the storms and just going back with the
Yes.
replacement window.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, so everybody understands that. All right. Any comments, concerns with the information, as long as the mutton patterns match up with what's on the building? I don't foresee any issues.
No.
All right,
None.
all right. Hearing no other comments, concerns with this, we'll entertain a motion to approve.
Mr. Chairman, I have reviewed the materials submitted in HDC case number 2020-22 and the associated staff reports and recommendations, and I have viewed the property in question. The staff reports recommend approval of these applications as consistent with the applicable standards adopted by this commission, and no one has appeared at this hearing with concerns about or issues with or objections to these applications. Therefore, I move this commission adopt the staff evaluations and recommendations in these cases as its own and grant certificates of appropriateness to the applicant for case number HDC 2020-22.
All right, is there a second to the motion?
Second.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of the motion, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion
done.
carries.
Thank you.
Okay.
Do I get any documentation?
We will be following up in writing, yes.
Okay.
I'll
Will
let
that
you-
be emailed to me?
It can be, yes.
I mean, it's on, well, yeah, it's on file. I'm
Yeah,
sure.
that's true. I have your email address. We'll make sure we get it to you as quickly as possible. Debbie typically
Yes, that's right.
produces those, and she's off this week, so she'll be off tomorrow, but I'm sure she'll be working on it Monday.
It's fine.
Okay?
Look forward to it then. Thank you.
All right, that concludes our design review for today. Next up is workshops for 1003 The Terrace for a new garage. Join the table there, and please state your name and address.
I can go now.
You're done.
Thank you. Thank you all very much.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Have a good evening.
Hello, my name is Michael Green. I am a designer with Corey's Construction. We're a design-build firm that's been contracted for this project at 1003 The Terrace in Hagerstown for Dr. Farah. It is a proposal for a new construction garage.
And we emailed out the elevations, so you all received them. I assume you've copied them.
Yes.
Okay. To give you a little bit of background on this, Dr. Farah, we've actually been working with Dr. Farah for a while. His property is like one of the biggest in the city as far as land mass goes. And he was looking to build a larger garage than the zoning ordinance actually permits. There's a limitation of 900 square feet, 1-story limitation for garages in the city. Based on the unique nature of this property and similar ones like it, the zoning ordinance was amended, went into effect in April, that allows them to be up to 1,800 square feet and up to 2 stories in height if the property is over a certain size. And the garage also has to meet the principal structure setbacks, not just an accessory structure setback. So basically, if you could build a house, why not build it with a 2-story garage kind of thing? So that basically Dr. Farah's been wading through that process, which was completed in April. So the regulations now are such that a zoning permit could be approved for a structure as large as they're proposing. This is proposed to be located, their property, the address is off of the terrace, but actually it's across was it Urban, I think it is?
Hillcrest.
From
Hillcrest.
Hillcrest.
From the, I think from the governor's, governor's
It's across the street from the Spanish.
The Spanish, that's right,
Spanish.
Spanish one. And it would be basically back the driveway. The driveway is kind of toward the west side of the Hillcrest frontage. And the idea is to build this thing kind of at the back of that driveway. It will be visible from Hillcrest. It will not be visible from the terrace. And also, we're looking at options at this point for abutting it up against an existing deck.
Correct. It would,
That's on the existing deck that's on the back of the house, so they can essentially walk across the back deck. We're still working, I still have to have a conversation with the planning director. We have some details of that, but nothing that would keep this evaluation or this workshop. And this is strictly just, before they submit actual heavy plans to you all for review and approval, we thought it'd be good for them to come in, sit down and kind of talk to you about what's going on. I have not heard anything from Dr. Reed. So we don't have any feedback from Paula on this one. So, with that, I'll leave it to you all.
All right. We'll let you explain the project a little bit.
So to further elaborate, yes, that is correct. The driveway is off Hillcrest. Hillcrest will be, that small opening will be the only visible access from the public. The existing dwelling blocks a good significant amount of the proposed garage. The garage right now is meeting the zoning requirements of 1,800 square feet exactly. It is still considered what we considered a single-story building with living space in the attic area. What will be visible from Hillcrest will be the lower side, single story of the building, meaning the gables will not be visible from any public area, with proposed two garage doors and one man door. I have reviewed some of the historical requirements and am looking for you guys for guidance. The proposed right now is a stone facade in the front that is going to be facing Hillcrest, a matching architectural asphalt shingle, green, that is to match as close as the existing dwelling, 2 skylights. The sides that will not be visible are proposed to be vinyl white siding to just kind of blend and disappear. That is pretty much the proposal of what the exterior finishes are. Interior finishes is just to be a garage with a small living space above, with a bathroom in the first floor or the garage level. Are we concerned about the deck enclosure at this point? Should that be elaborated, or?
That's the part I still need to work out with the planning director, but frankly, that's mostly going to be obscured from the street, I believe.
Correct. None of that is visible. It's blocked completely by the existing dwelling or what was.
I mean, if you want to talk about it with them, that's fine. That's where the couple zoning issues that we still need to work out need to be. But if you want to discuss it, if it's not visible from the public ways, you're not going to be that worked up about it anyway.
The connection to the existing deck, the idea for this is just a continual enclosing from the existing dwelling to the living area of the garage. This is going to be done over the existing deck that's currently there. So that, as was explained, that also is to match what currently the deck is surrounded in a white vinyl fencing, and this was the proposed idea of the white vinyl siding to just do that enclosures with windows, but none of the windows will be visible from the street. They will actually be facing the majority of what's already the enclosed deck.
If I remember correctly, that's all down below street grade. The driveway goes down.
I believe, yes, it will actually be below
So
Hillcrest.
actually, the only way you really see that is if you were coming north on Hillcrest. Because when you're in the turn, you'd have to look back over your shoulder to see it.
Driving by the property now, and when we go to full approvals, I will make sure that I have a decent amount of pictures. It is heavily treed and very hard to see anything back in that area. None of those tree lines on Hillcrest will be touched or altered in any way.
Comments, concerns?
My only, trying to read the elevations and get a grasp of what you were doing was just that I thought it was just not a garage, but an extension of the house, like a build out of the house with a garage attached because of the combination of the two properties. So I was trying to figure out how I could look at that because it seemed like it was just an add-on to the house with a garage attached. But
At one point during this design, there was the possibility of this being an extension, but according to zoning, that little connection does not count for actually being a part or an extension of the house, correct? So that's where it is a new structure, what's going to be considered freestanding.
And just curious, just curious myself, this is not just going to be, because you're looking at a 3/4 use building with the fill-in. Is the intention long-term to just make it part of the house?
There was, during the design phase, there was no real aesthetic or feasible connection to the house. Just on how the back of the house is actually situated, there's one door, you would be looking at substantial remodeling in the house to make a good flow or a good attachment. So that was the original idea, but there was just no aesthetically
Yeah,
pleasing.
because I go by there all the time. There, you can't see anything back there except their little staircase. I mean, it's so invisible.
Correct.
You don't
Yes.
even know
Yes.
there's anything back there.
Yeah, that's actually kind of the peculiarity with this, just the way the zoning laws are written.
Mm-hmm.
To be a two-family dwelling, because there was talk about maybe making some living space, actually independent living space in it, but I just understand they're backing away from that at this point.
Correct. There was just a bathroom. There was going to be a kitchenette, but the kitchenette was just a bonus. It was not a necessity for this build. So that has been removed from this design.
It's just such a big parcel and so terrain, so interesting. It's really hard for us to know anything about what's going back there.
What's happening is that there's some peculiarities in the definitions of the zoning ordinance as far as what constitutes a dwelling. A two-family dwelling, if they were going to be enclosing it, has to have common wall. You just can't connect it by a habit trail to call it a two-family dwelling. So those are the kind of things that, and it sounds like from what you're describing, this can be what little's left to clean up. Should be no big deal. I just need to talk to the planning director. But we kind of went around and around and around with Dr. Farrar on this a bit for a while because he had certain desires for it that didn't fit within the zoning at the time. We've amended those, but it's still kind of shoehorning them a little bit. We can get them there, but it wasn't as clean, especially when they were still talking about it being a separate dwelling entity. Then can you connect the two by the tube, that kind of thing. Again, that's stuff that we're working out. Should be no big deal to finalize at this point. But if it was going to be dwelling space, it had to be a two-family dwelling, which means a common wall, which the tube arrangement didn't have. But it's not going to be a dwelling. We don't have that issue.
The purpose of the structure was never really to be an independent two-party dwelling. It was necessity for storage space. And the current garage as it sits in the house is basically unusable because of the sizes of the actual garage doors. They're still the original carriage doors. And he has no real garage. So the garage was a necessity, and then the use of above is strictly all storage. So
We were looking at versions, though, at one time that had a kitchen and a bathroom that had all the potential of being a separate independent dwelling. Again, we've probably been through
I've been
5
through.
incarnations of this thing.
When we were contracted, I believe there were several before that, but we've been through two. So
It's hard when you look at these too, because when you try to match a building to a garage in these timeframes, and you can't even see it with or without trees, it's really hard to look at what we're supposed to do and kind of.
well, purpose of the workshop is for, I assume, and I apologize, I haven't been in one of these for your particular board, but if you would request certain information, I'm happy to obtain before the next. So if you would like certain pictures or anything of that nature, I'm happy to provide for the next.
And there's no limit on the number of workshops you can do. So if you're not in a burning rush and you want to come back for another workshop before making an official submission, you could do that too.
I would love to get this off my books and
Are you going to match the design of the house, even though it's so invisible? I mean, what's your vision?
I'm sure, I'm not really understanding the question. Are we
Well, I mean,
trying to
what-
match or are we
The
trying?
style that's there, are you trying?
Style is such a unique style that it's trying to be complementary. A lot of the materials that are of the existing house are just impractical to obtain. So no, we are not trying to match exactly, but trying to be as complementary as possible.
And that's what the expectations of the design guidelines are, that you're not trying to fool somebody into thinking
Right.
this is part of the original complex.
Wasn't-
But it's character.
Yeah, I wasn't suggesting, I just, because I didn't want to trespass and go on his property. I was just wondering how you would extend, just your vision, that's all, of how you saw that coming together with the style.
I think that they were very pleased with how the deck turned out, being the white, and how it just didn't attract the attention away from the house. So we're trying to make this garage minimal, and that was one of the particulars of the white and the green, the white siding and the green shingles and the smaller stone facade should not really draw the attention of whoever pulls in the driveway, but to just kind of be there. So that's our goal. Those particular we have narrowed down some selections, but I was wanting to do this first to see if you guys had any in particular of request for what materials would be. At this point, Dr. Farah is happy to, basically whatever you suggest or whatever you require to get this project approved, he is willing to do.
And this version actually isn't as big as a couple of the previous incarnations. It's been
Correct.
shrunk down some.
Correct. At one point, he was going for almost 32 or 3,300 square feet.
It was the size of a house.
It was a
It was large. It was large.
still an 1,800 square foot garage is large.
I have no problem with the stone on the front with the garage doors. I'm not sure that you necessarily need the stone on the one side elevation up in the gable. Particularly for me, stone should be the base, not, and having it hang over top of siding below that.
That was a request from Dr. Farah, just for the point of that it being visible from his deck.
Okay.
And it's not really visible from public ways.
It is
No,
not
it's
going to
not.
be visible from public ways. That's an easy alteration if
Yeah.
necessary.
And that was my only, I would think it would be easier to run the siding on up. as
Actually,
opposed to
yeah, it,
Try to hang stone up there at that point, so. The green shingles matches the green terracotta roofing material, so I don't have any concerns with this myself. Anybody else have any comments, concerns,
No, it's
direction for this applicant? All right, not hearing anything, so it looks like everybody's satisfied with the direction you're heading.
Thank you.
If this is not an HDC issue, it's interior to the building. But in order to make sure that the square footage stays at the 1,800 square feet, we're going to need to see something in your truss system that keeps that extra area on the second floor from being expanded into.
That extra area, I don't know if you have it in this version, but the engineered truss systems that's a web truss at that point. So it switches from the live truss, meaning the area that's open, to a complete web truss.
Okay.
So it
To
will,
take care of that
the
as
truss
well.
design will have, it's a similar truss, but it will have its webs through the structural support through it. So.
Okay.
All right,
Okay.
All righty.
appreciate your time.
Formal application, everything is online. I apologize. It's just been a crazy time and
Yeah, the application form is online under the application section, and you'll work with Debbie Calhoun to do the actual official submission.
thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next up, new business. Anybody have any new business for the commission?
You want to introduce your new member?
All right, we have a new member that's here today, Chris George. Welcome aboard. Give us a little background information, so get to know you.
Okay. just talk like this. So I am I'm a local volunteer. I've been volunteering at the local historical society, and I consider myself pretty knowledgeable about local history, and so I'm excited to serve my community on this board.
Well, welcome aboard.
Thank you.
All right, we have another new member not here tonight, Mr. Carroll. So he'll be joining us in the future. And we'd like to thank Monica Wortman and Chad Crumrine for their past contributions to our commission. So we wish them well in their future endeavors. Any other new business? Any old business? We have preservation awards to finalize. We have the list in front of us.
And we provided you some photographs of a property up on East Avenue, both the east and west halves. This is one where they did a renovation of a Second Empire duplex, residential on one side and its offices on the other, and they came into this body for an addition, small addition onto the rear as well. But that's where you're at.
They are banners in those photographs.
Banner, temporary sign.
Okay.
Basically, it's advertising vacancy in the building, so.
Comments?
This doesn't pertain, but did Mr. Bartel ever decide to do anything with that chimney?
He decided to repair it.
Okay.
I think it's nice to have like the East property be recognized. It might help encourage these smaller projects, that they're not overlooked like incidental to the process, that matters there too, not just the big splashy projects.
All right, so everybody's good with this particular list that we have?
Yeah.
All right, do we need a formal approval? All right, we'll entertain a motion for the preservation awards as listed.
What kind of document am I reading from?
You don't have to read it, just make it, just.
It's just called wing it.
Okay, we're reading it then. Move to introduce the 2020 Preservation Award possibilities to the council.
All right, is there a second to the motion?
Second.
All right, any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of the motion to move toward the 2020 Preservation Awards to the council signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries.
And I believe that they will be presented by the mayor at the end of this month. That'll be a separate.
The fourth Tuesday?
Sorry?
That's the fourth Tuesday?
Yes.
I just want to make sure. Any other old business that needs to be brought before the commission? Hearing none, any announcements that needs to be made? All right, hearing none, is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All right, so good. Thank you, everyone. We'll see everybody back on the 23rd.